Hello, welcome to Tip Top Parts weekly video series. Each week we'll be presenting features and benefits and tools to help you present product to your customers.
Yeah. Okay, you're good. So we've determined that this is the motor that's at fault. We're going to swap this guy out. Very simple. First thing you want to do is pop your leads off. Obviously you have two. I use a pair of pliers. You can use a different pair. I like these. You can do it by hand, but you do want to be very careful that these tabs are very delicate, and obviously each one has a lead running to it. They are quite breakable. Okay, so we got our leads off. There's 3 screws on each motor. They're always the same. The length of the screw may change. 1/4-inch drive on your bit. I use an extension, as you can see. It's down inside a little bit. You have to remove the screws fully. There are rubber isolated washers on these. You want to be careful that you don't lose them. Pretty simple. This one has a bit of an extension on the horn. Some are longer, some are a little trickier to get out. This one's pretty easy, but you just lift it out, kind of tilt it and turn it as you go. So you'll notice there are 3 rubber isolators on each stand, and they just lift off. You see that one fell off when I pulled the motor. They just sit on. And your motor gasket, depending on the age of your unit, these will flatten, they will dry out, they can split over time. They're just held on with the double-sided adhesive. So if yours is flat, if it's looking worn, it's not sealing properly, it's super easy to just pull those off, put a new one on. So obviously, this is our new motor now. Goes in the same way it came out. If you knock an isolator off, find it, track it down, put her back on. I always start the screws by hand to make sure they're in the right spot. And the legs that hold these on are very movable. If you find that they're not quite in the right spot, you can bend them pretty simply. Make sure that you line up your stuff. I know it's blocking everything. You don't want to tighten any one down until you get all 3 at least finger tight in, or finger in position. If you tighten one too soon, you have a hard time lining up the other 2. It's back in place. Happy. You do want to make sure you stick your finger underneath. Just make sure that you've seated up against that gasket. If it were a new gasket, it would be less of a concern. And then just replace your 2 leads. Being AC, it doesn't matter if you get them in the same spot or opposite current. Carefully put them on. Again, those tabs are quite delicate. They will bend and break very easily. You do want to make sure that your connectors are seated. So once you get your motor back, put your cover on. And you'll notice, if you're not sure which way you took it off, that this has to line up with your control board. It only goes on one way. You can't go wrong at that point. Remember that. Screw holes on the outside of your cap or cover are actually not equally spaced. So you want to look at them before you actually commit, because I right now don't have it on properly. That's the way. Again, put your 3 screws in, line them up, and start them by hand first. I use a hand tool for this because I don't want to over torque them. Strip them. They're just holding the cap on, so it's not like they have to be super torqued. And you're good to go.